All right. So the lesson for this day, we will be focusing on Python pandas. So anybody of you who are familiar with Excel, have you tried using Excel on your work? Yes, familiar with Excel. Basically, Python pandas is like the spreadsheet of Python. So here we will be manipulating our data. We will be cleaning the data. We will be transforming the data. And but first and foremost, we will try to upload the data in Python so that we can do the manipulation of our data. Yung Zoom pop-up nakaharang. What do you mean Zoom pop-up?
I think yun, sila nyo po i-click yung got it.
Sa akin wala naman. Wait lang.
Okay. Okay na po, sorry.
Sa'yo lang. Sige, sige. Sa akin wala naman eh. Okay. So first, but before that pala, kindly download all of the files here. So the files here will be containing of the data sets that we will be using for our today's lesson. So the data set that we will be using, something like this, as you can see. So we will be using cities, countries, players, teams, Titanic. So those are the data that we will be using today. Okay, so that is located here on this link. So please download all the data because that is the requirement before we can start. All right. So I hope you are downloading the data files or the data type, the data sets. So what you need to do here is maybe at first you will see your Python pandas like this. In order to upload the data set, there is a folder on the left side. As you can see on the screen, there is a folder for files. You can basically click on it, and then there are sample data sets here coming from Google Colab, but we can also upload our data set, our own data set, by clicking this icon on the left side, on the very left side of the top menu. We can click upload to session storage. Now we can actually locate where we saved our files. So if you just downloaded the data sets that I have said, kindly locate all those data and upload it on our Google Colab. So as you can see, I will select cities. I will press Control on my keyboard to select multiple data sets. So while pressing Control on your keyboard, you can select the data sets that you, Shift rather, you will be pressing Shift on your keyboard and then select the data sets that you will be using. Okay. Or Control, whichever you want to use. So something like this: cities, countries, players, teams, Titanic. So let's upload everything. So it will ask us, ensure that your files are saved elsewhere, because this runtime files will delete them when it is terminated. So the files that are uploaded here on the left side are temporary and will not be able to reuse them next time. So what you need to do is to upload every time you start again your Python Pandas programming. Okay. So in Python, we need to import our library for the manipulation of our data sets. So our data sets are in CSV format, as you can see there. And we need to import the pandas library. Okay, let me just increase the size so that you can see it in a bigger picture. So we will first import pandas. So pandas is the name of the tool that we will be using for data manipulation in Python. So we acronym or we change it as PD because it is lengthy if we will be using the word pandas. So we will just use PD. So actually this code is not really important, this second part and this second part, because that is just for uploading the data. However, we already uploaded our data here on our session storage. So therefore, we don't need to run these two codes over here. Okay. So there are also two types of uploading your files in Pandas. You can do this one. So this is the old way of doing it. And this is also one. You don't need to really know what is happening over here, because this is just opening the data set. So what is important is we open the data set. Actually, it's just 2 lines. So if you will try to observe, this is identical to the second one that I am showing to you right now. All right. So let me just use the simpler one. So this one I will be using. So PD is not defined. So I forgot, we need to run this first. Okay. And then let's run this second line where cities is equal to PD read CSV cities.csv. So what is happening right now is we just uploaded cities CSV on our pandas. So now it is stored in the cities variable. So let's play here the cities variable, and we will try to observe what is inside the cities.csv. Okay, so this is a preview of the data that are inside of cities.csv. So let's observe how many columns do we have. So we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So the columns are city, country, latitude, longitude, temperature. So take note, this is also known as features. So your columns is also known as features because they provide uh, an identity to your table or data set. So this also describes what are the data that is written row-wise on your data set. So for instance, city, you all have cities just right below that column. For country, you have country, and so on. So you also observe here that not all the data is shown in our table, but it is known to us that it's 213 rows and with 5 columns. So for matrices, this is 213 by 5. So that is our data. This is just simple as loading your CSV file on your Excel. So this is something like that. So we already loaded our first CSV file on our pandas. Okay, let me ask you a question. Did you do the same on your end? Is there any error so far? Did you encounter any error? Press 1 if you did not encountered anything that will hinder your practice for today. Okay, all right. So let's move on. Number of rows. So by using the function len, we will try to get all the numbers of rows inside cities. So this is important when you use cities as a counter for your loop structure. Probably if you will be using this for looping statements. So this is just simply retrieving the length of cities. So we have there again 213. Now, the next one is cities.head. So cities.head is retrieving the first few rows of your table uh, at the first part of your table. Okay. As you can see here, how do we know? How do we know that this is the first part of the table? Because we are seeing that the row index is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Therefore, this is the first 5 data in our table. How about we try to use an argument value in our function head? So if we will use 10 as an argument value, we can basically get the first 10. Okay? First 10 of our data. But normally, we just use head so that we will not encounter this one, or sometimes we will not load all of the data because it's sometimes irrelevant to view all the data at once. Sometimes you just want to check the first 5 rows if everything is okay. Something like this. Then we also have cities.tail. So cities.tail doesn't have an argument, but now it just gives us the few rows, or the first 5 rows at the end of the data set. Basically, if you just put 20 here, you will get the last 20 detail, the last 20 rows on your data set. Okay. Okay, so far that's not really hard, right? Very easy to understand. Okay, so let's move on forward. So now I will teach you also, this is the second part. I will teach you how to select a certain row or a certain column in your pandas data frame. Okay, so let me just demonstrate what we will be doing using Excel. Okay. So before we do it in Python, I will demonstrate what we will be doing in Excel so that you will have a comparison of what is happening from Excel, and then also from our code or Python code. Okay, so let's say this is Excel. So in selecting rows and columns, what we are doing in Excel is that we click the letters of each column that we want to select. Or sometimes we highlight the certain column that we want to select here on our spreadsheet or Excel. And then we will copy, right click, copy, and then paste it on a different sheet. So in Python Pandas, your pandas or your data frames are like sheets on Excel. Okay? They are like sheets on Excel where you select a certain column and then copy and paste it to another sheet or do something about that column. So basically that is what we're going to do in our Python. Okay? So let's do that on our Python code. Before we have this code, let me have a smaller version of it. So we are talking about cities, right? We're talking about cities. So this is our sheet. We consider cities our data frame, or this is sheet on Excel. Again, this cities is the data frame or can be considered sheet on Excel. All right. So what we wanted to get the temperature of the column inside cities. So in order to do that, we will create two brackets and then open open and close quote. So as you can see, there are suggestions. We can see that there are suggestions that are given to us. So I will be using temperature. Okay. And then this is the column temperature, which we focus on if we will try to put the value or the name our of our column. Okay, so basically this is sheet one. If you try to put sheet one as your variable and then you have an assignment operator and you have this command cities temperature, what is happening there is like on Excel, you are having another sheet and you are basically copying this row and be saved to a new sheet, something like that. So that is the meaning of what we are doing right now. So I play this one. Therefore, I can use now sheet. Sheet one, sorry. Sheet one. Okay. So what if we change the values of the temperature column here in sheet one? Are we changing also the temperature column in cities? The answer for that is no. We are not editing the values from cities because this is another data frame. However, if we try to if we try to do like cities like this, and then we have sheet one, uh, it will save all of the values into our new cities. But there is a catch. It should not be um, different from the other rows. Meaning you should not add new data over here. Okay? You should not have any additional row. You just edit the values, but you should not add more additional rows in order for this to work. But we will not be doing that as of the moment. I'm just explaining. So what I want you to do is to learn how to select each column on your data frame. Okay, so I will be removing these two cells. Okay, let's proceed to this one. So this code it's going to select city's temperature and will just show us the first 5 rows. And this one, it will be just choosing latitude, longitude, and country without the other columns. And this one, you will be saving all of the selected columns into a new sheet or data frame. Okay, so something like this. If I run this cell, this is what's going to happen. So as you can see also, if we have 3 commands of data frames in our cell, it will not view all of the data, but only view which is the last part of your instructions. So this both codes right above, they will not run. You will not see any results from them. You will only get the results from the last one. So this result is coming from temp is equal to cities, country, latitude, longitude. So if I'm going to comment them, so putting a asterisk makes them a comment. What is the meaning of making them a comment? They will not be visible and they will not be printed. So something like this. So this code is actually, or that result is actually coming from this code. So if I'm going to comment this out again, we will see okay, short break tayo. Short break, 5 minutes. Meron lang akong kukunin. Short break, 5 minutes. Okay, going back. Can you hear me again? Hello?
Yes po.
Yes, sir. Okay, sure. All right. All right, so we've done with the, let me just connect my charger. Okay, so we can actually remove the comment so that we can reuse the codes all over again. Okay, so that's how it is running. All right, so this is another example. All right. Okay, So now next is, this is sorting. So from this column says sorting. All right. The code for sorting is basically, we will have our cities here, our sheet or data frame, and we will place dot sort values. And then what is the column that we will be sorting? And then if ascending, we will try to say this is true. Okay, so let us run this code. So what happens here is, we will focus on latitude. And then if you will observe, the value of the latitude is in ascending format, meaning it's starting from small value going to the larger value. So the highest value for the latitude is 67.85. So what if I will try to make this one city? So now it will be in alphabetical order based on city, because the first letter is considered the first part, and going to Z is the last part. So it's like ascending in alphabetical space. If you will try to remove this one city and then replace it with country, now your city is not alphabetically arranged, but your country is now arranged. So it prioritizes the columns that you are trying to sort. So in Excel, if we will try to do that in Excel, so what is happening there is, um, we are putting a filter, or sorry, we are putting this sort. Okay, so we will be clicking this one and sort them from, or put a filter first, and then we are trying to use the sort capability. Let's say sort smallest to largest. Okay, so this is what we have on our code, right? It started with 36.13. And if we want to sort based on CT, okay, we can also do that. And then we can also sort based on country. So basically, that is what we are doing in this code. So for Excel, that is how many steps? That is highlighting this column and then putting a filter, right? In order to do that functionality. But in Python, it's just simple as sorting or putting this command. Okay. So next one, we can now combine them. Okay, so we can combine them. The selection of the column and also the sorting of the column. So try to remember that sort can be right after the selection of the column. So you select first the column you want to sort or you want to view, and then you can sort them. And then you can also, at the end, put that head to only view the first five. Okay. Next is we can do this technique where we place our selected column to a sheet or a data frame, and then afterwards perform the sort. Then we view our value. So we can have two sort values, CT and temperature. So it will be sorted based on CT. What if we try to change this one? False and true. Will we have a different result? So did not take effect. So in order for that to take effect, you need to save it again, something like this, to take effect. Uh-huh. Yes. So this one is 10.64. Sort values, CT is false, temperature is true. Ascending. Hindi siya, magulo siya, no? Wait lang. What if talagang ano, ang weird nito, no? Hindi nag-sort. False, false, false. Ah, I see. I see. It's descending and also, okay. Now I know the reason why. So if you want to focus on temperature, you can remove CT here. And do this one. Yeah. So if you have two, what will happen if you have two? Something like this. It will first do the first column to be in descending format. So it will force. Look at this one. It will force Z to A, right? It will forcefully do the descending order on the first column, and then it will also forcefully do the ascending order here on the temperature. So it happens that city Zurich is lower than Zonguldak. But the lowest value for temperature is not 10.64. So it will prioritize the first column for descending order before it tries to prioritize the second column. So in business cases, that's not actually going to happen most of the time, but it's just good to know that that happens sometimes. Okay, I hope you got that. And then in order for you to save that kind of sorting, you need to place temp is equal to temp.sort. So what does that mean is that this sorting for the temp data frame will actually take effect because you put an assignment operator and save that to temp. Therefore, if you will now try to look at temp, it will be like this one. So now it's going to be a temporary, a permanent change from your data frame. So now it's like it's random. Your data is now random. It does not have any order for this reason. So putting this code on your temp or your data frame will make them in a random order. Okay? So this is how you do it to put them on a random order. If you will if you will try to have a equal sign, meaning you're going to make this permanent change to your data frame. All right? So you can also select the column by just using the dot feature. You can also view that using the dot feature, something like this. However, you will not have any fancy borders if you will try to compare it with this one. Okay, sorry. Kulang pa pala. So this one has like a border. However, if you place that with just that city, it will not have any border, something like this. So it's up to you if you want to have the border or not. Okay? So now next is conditions in pandas. So conditions is basically focusing on the values that you want to view. So let us relate that to Excel. So this is our Excel file. If we wanted to put condition on our Excel file, we can use the filter function like this, and then let's say we wanted to filter only the country that, or only show the data that is from Spain. Okay. So these are the data that are actually in the country of Spain. So that is condition. That is condition in Excel, right? So we can also have multiple conditions like country, so we don't have that anymore, right? And then city, let's say city that contains iya. So we have two conditions here. that it is on the country of Spain and the city has IA. Okay, so Murcia has IA or IA. Valencia has IA or IA. Okay, so let's do this same instruction to our Python pandas. Okay. So let me have another code here. So first and foremost, we write our data frame cities, and then we have cities inside dot country equals Spain. Okay. Equals Spain, and city city uh, this equals so this should have a Pythonic solution pala, no? City dot string contains here. Okay. So let's run this code. Okay, so now actually we just need to put some open and close parentheses so that it will try to know that there are separate conditions. Okay. So this is the same thing with the one we did with Excel. Okay, so they have the same answers, right? So Murcia and Valencia. Okay. So for this one, we just want to see the longitude, right? So this one, all of the longitude that are not having negative numbers, or sorry, longitude with negative numbers rather. So only the longitude with negative numbers. Okay. So what if we will just focus on longitude? So if you're going to focus on longitude, you will put also the curly longitude. You will just place here this double bracket and then the word longitude to focus on the column longitude. Okay? Also, this one, let's say we wanted just to look for the temperature in the city. So we can simply put here temperature, city rather, city, and comma, temperature. Okay? So something like that. So usually, we are using that for the reason that we wanted to compare them, the values. Okay. So, so we did this one because sometimes we want to compare them. So I'm just going to copy that code and let's say have this simple plot like this. I don't know if this will work. Do we have that? Uh, Numeric data. I see. So probably the reason why this happened because, okay, maybe because X is string. Anyway, we are not I'm just trying something else. This is not actually part of the ano, I'm just trying to do if that works because this one can be used for plotting. This can be used for plotting. This instruction. Anyway, because our next session will be for visualization or plotting, so let's reserve that for next meeting. Now, let's just focus on getting the data. I'm just uh, wondering if that code is possible. All right, so let's go here on our next one. So that is just viewing longitude and then the cities, something like this. No. So all of the values that are, so if we will try to combine it with head, it will only show us the first 5 of our cities with negative values. Okay? So if we combine this one. So we can actually apply this one. So this one is like the SQL. So who are you who has experience with Excel? Who are those people? Do you have any experience with SQL? Basically, Python Pandas is also uh, synonymous with SQL if you have any experience with that. So if this is SQL, you're practically getting city and temperature from the cities, right? And then where temperature is less than 0. Yeah. SQL, yes. SQL is also known as structured query language. So I'm pertaining to queries, yes. So this is the SQL query. And if we will try to convert that into pandas, so this is the conversion. So from this one, it becomes this one. So what does it mean? We want to see only city and temperature, where cities have temperature that are less than 0. Okay. And how about this one? So this is just viewing city and temperature, where cities that are negative 0, and then cities that are actually in Kiruna. No? Kiruna. So it will show us Kiruna and the temperature is negative 2.2. All right. Then cities, longitude, something like this. You can use any columns in the condition, even if the column is not present in the selection. Okay, so what does that mean? If we are talking about latitude, we can still use that to our condition, even if we did not select it here. So that is possible in, however, there is no negative latitude rather than let's say 50. Okay, so we have latitudes that are less than 50. How about less than 10? Do we have anything that are less than 10? So we don't have less than 10. How about less than 20? Okay, probably for us to know, let's try to minimum of, let's try to have a minimum. Cities, okay. Cities, 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 that latitude, western latitude. Okay, so let's just know what is the minimum value. Okay, so in this one, instead of that one, we will use this to get the minimum value. So the minimum value is 36.13. So therefore, anything that is less than equal to 36.13. So you want to know what is that city with a minimum latitude of 36.13. So that's Algeciras. Okay. So this is what we mean when we say if it is not present on the selection, as you can see, we only have here city and longitude. You can still use that in the condition section of your pandas. All right. Okay, so for this one, we can section our codes. Let's say this is for the selection. This is for the selection part. Okay. This is for the selection. Oh, nagiging siyang comment. So this is for the selection part. Select. Hindi ko siya pwede malagyan ng comment sa gilid. So anyway, select. And this is the condition. The second line is the condition. And then the fourth line is the sort. The third line is the sort, which has that head. Okay. So this means that we want to look for the city, the latitude, and the temperatures of those city that their temperature are greater than 0.20 or cities that are less than 1. So we will sort them by city, and then we will see only the first 5 rows. So the answer for that is this one. Okay. So we usually use and as the end operator. So usually we use end or ends if the columns in our filter are different. Okay, so if our columns for our condition is different, it's end. Okay. Otherwise, if they are the same, we use or. Lumalabas yung ano niya, no? Visualization. Okay. So for this one, we can also implement what we have learned in our Python's basic or Python basics, which is the slicing. So we can also implement slicing on our data frame. Okay. So you can also use sheets or different data frames. So in this example, we have 1, 2, and 3 sheets. So what happens here is that in the first sheet, we selected all of the cities that are greater than 50 for the latitude and the temperature are greater than 9. So we place that inside temp 1 or sheet 1. Then we show only city and latitude, or sorry, city and longitude, and place that to temp 2. Then on temp 2, we sort the longitude and save that to temp 3. Now we get the final answer once we put temp 3 here. So this is our answer. Okay. So if we're trying to have an SQL query like this, so we will have this kind of result. Okay. So do you have any questions for that? May question ba kayo on sa diniscuss ko? Because after that, we will have practices. Ito, yung your turn. So, papracticein nyo naman to yung sa inyo. So, don't worry. The way to answer the your turn is actually getting the answers from the previous lecture, something like this. If it seems that this one is the the answer for the question below, you can just copy and paste that. You just copy and paste that here and modify it based on this question. So for this one, we want to find all the countries that are not in the EU and don't have coastline together with their population. Then sort the population from largest or smallest to largest. Okay. So you can just simply use pd.readcsv, then place that countries dot CSV equals countries. So you can start over here. So this is the data of countries. Now it's your turn to answer this for, let's say, for 10 minutes. So if you have your answers here, kindly paste that on our chat. Okay, so I hope you have answers for this one already. So let me give you the answer for this one. So find all the countries that are not. Okay, so there is answer coming from Stephanie. Let me just show it to everyone. Okay, so coming from Stephanie. So her code is getting first country and population, then countries.eu is equal to no, and countries.coastline is equal to no. Then sort the population in ascending through. Okay. Find all the countries that are not in EU. So right, correct. Not in EU. And then the population. And don't have coastline. And then with their population, country. All right. So correct. All right, correct. Very good. This is coming from Stephanie. Okay. So countries first is to get country and population. So you have there like that. Then you can basically get the countries. The countries. Coastline equals no. Then dot sort values population ascending equals true. Okay, let's check. What is my error? Unexpected character. Ano ba spelling ko? Countries.eu. Kailangan ba single ko? Meron ba akong maling spelling? Hindi naman, depende lang yan. Pwede namang single quote. Unexpected? What's the unexpected? That values. Okay, let me do this. Baka sakali. Population, countries, coastline. Wala naman akong spelling. Ayun, okay na. Okay, so also the answer of cells. So, minsan may mga spacing, minsan may mga spacing problems. So this is answer of cells. So, same, okay, tama naman, correct. Yes, minsan merong factor yung spacing. So kailangan mo siyang, ang pinaka-normal talaga niya kasi is one liner of code. Okay, one line of code lang talaga siya. Pagka ganitong style, no? Kasi may iba't ibang approach. Pwedeng yung approach ninyo is ganito para hindi kayo mahirapan. Pwede naman ganito. Ganitong style ng approach. Yung para kayong may mga sheet, transfer ninyo yung data frame, yung result sa mga data frame. Pwede rin ganitong klase, one-liner of code. May ganitong style din. Yung ganitong style kasi, ginagamit siya para mabilis lang i-type. Para mabilis lang siyang i-type. Parang gano'n.
Question
Okay,
po.
so yes.
Yung pag-transfer po, hindi po ba mas matagal yung processing niya? Nakaka-affect po ba yun sa execution time niya?
May point naman, pero it's more of like filtering siya. Kasi like for instance, this one, ang ginawa natin dito, na-filter na natin yung gusto natin makuha. So yung tina-transfer natin sa temp1 is filtered na kung ano lang yung gusto natin makuha. Then on this one, ang ita-transfer natin, dalawang column lang coming from temp1 going to temp2. Then on this one, ang ita-transfer natin sa temp3 is yung sorted value based on longitude. So pupunta siya sa temp3. So pag wala tayong nilagay pala dito sa sorted values na ascending, automatically ano siya, ascending format. So may something siya na I don't know, pero for me wala naman since nafi-filter naman siya. Ang magiging ano nito, ang magiging problema ng transferring is pag malaki pa rin yung tina-transfer mong data. But if you will ask me, ang kaya lang ni Pandas is around hundreds of data, 100,000s of data. Pagka more than that, kailangan mo siyang lagyan ng partitions. So pag niload mo siya dito, ipapartition mo siya, tsaka mo siya i-merge. May na-experience akong ganun before, yung data, let's say, parang gigabytes na siya. So, yung data, hindi mo siya maloload as one, as kunyari 2 gig, hindi mo siya maloload ng 2 gig. Ang mangyayari is kailangan mo siyang i-partition. So, i-divide mo siya into smaller chunks. Let's say, one CSV file is 200,000 rows. And then another one, 200,000 rows. Ganun, parang ganun. So, pinapartition pa rin siya. It's such that yung dataset natin, hindi ganun karami. Mga ano lang to, hundreds lang to. For the sake lang na matutunan natin yung data manipulation using pandas. Okay. So where are we now? Aggregation, all right. So this one, this aggregation, useful din siya kapag may mga hinahanap tayo. If we're looking for something, let's say you are looking for the highest temperature city. Okay. So let me just have another cell. So ang use case niya is I want to know what is the city that has the highest na lang muna. So cities dot city longitude or latitude. Latitude. So ang ibig sabihin ng cities dot latitude is kukunin natin yung series of numbers, no? And then let's say gusto natin makuha kung sino yung pinakatuktok or pinakamataas. So we will use max. Okay? So dito, ang pinakamataas na latitude is 67.85. Now, if we are curious to know what is that city with the highest location over the map, so we can create a selection city, something like that, city, and then cities dot dot latitude equals 67.85. Okay, or we can actually replace that with this one. So the city is Kiruna, which is the highest. Okay, it's up to you if you want to replace that with this one, or you have a variable, highest latitude. So you can place that here, highest latitude. Okay, so that is Kiruna. How about the lowest city? Okay, lowest latitude. We want to know the city which is the lowest latitude or probably below or mababang lugar na yon, mababang lugar. So cities dot latitude. First, we want to know what is the value for that. What's the value of the lowest city in our data set? Okay, so let me comment that out. Minimum cities latitude. Okay, sorry. I need to print lowest latitude. So what's that value? It's 36.13. It's 36 up to 65. Parang ganun, no? So having said that, we can use that lowest latitude value to know what city is the lowest in our data set. So the lowest is Algeciras and the highest is Kiruna. Okay, so we can basically use that to possibly search for. All right. What else? We can use maximum, the average. The average. Let's say average latitude. Average latitude. So the average latitude will be the mean. Are we using mean or average? Average. Average. Average ba yung gamit natin? Somewhere. Oh, mean. We don't have average. Okay, so for that, we will be using CP's dot latitude dot mean. So mean is also average. So what is the average? $47.49. Okay. For that case, in that case, we can say that we are curious what is around 47. So in that case, we can use also that to kind of like say scale. Let's try this one. I don't know if this will work. So there is no exact number, but if it is greater, if it is greater, the average. So here are the cities that are above the average. So these are the cities that are above average for the latitude. And these are the below average, or those who are really low areas, low area cities. Okay. Probably you wanted to know also what are the temperatures. Temperatures. So wanted to know the temperature of those areas. So for those who are below the average latitude, the temperatures are low, kind of low. For the above average, then we can actually sort them, sort values, sort them by a temperature if you want. Sort them by a temperature. So we have here for the average latitude more than 47, we have smaller values, but for the lesser latitudes, we have almost high temperatures, almost high temperatures. Okay. And then when you put cities here, temperature, let me just look at it. Seven. Okay. So can anybody try to explain what is happening in this one? Can anybody explain what is happening on this one? No one? No one will try? Okay, so let me just discuss this phenomenon. So here, what is happening is that we want to get, or we wanted to want to show the city and the temperature only. Now, those temperature with the average latitude coming from cities latitude that mean. And then I want to sort them so that I know uh, what is the range of values, and having it descending values so that I can know what are the values over or below the average latitude, what are the temperatures below the average latitude. Now, when I use that temp, what I mean by this is whichever that I got from this query, I will just get the series values. Therefore, I can assign them, to have max, another max value, something like this. And let's try to run. Okay, so for this one, it doesn't not want to have this. Okay, so let me just try it again. Okay. So now when I put max, I get the maximum value. And then when I change this to min, I get the minimum value of that sorted cities below the average latitude. Okay, so the scenario here is like, I am curious if I cut them in half using the average latitude, I still want to know what is the lowest temperature from those below average latitude. So this answers the question. I want to know the lowest temperature of the average latitude of the cities with the average latitude, with the below average latitude. So this is the solution for that one. Okay, so meaning the aggregation is useful for just finding values in our series, something like this that we have, because of the series that temperature. Any question with this one? I hope you did not get confused with this one. I hope you did not confuse yourself from that example. Okay, so let's say, to have another example, let's say I want, okay, so let me just view let's have another example. Let me view countries. What is the value of countries? Okay, so this is the value of countries. So let me focus on the population. Okay, let me focus on the population. So we focus on population. Okay, I want to get the average population, or I want to know the countries that has average population. Okay, so for me to do that, I will first type countries and then get the country and population. Okay, so let me just show it to you, country and population. Okay, so I got country and population. Next, I want to view all the average. What is the average, no? So the average population. So let me just have a computation here to get the average population. Getting the average population. So getting the average population means country, let's have the countries that population dot mean. Okay. So mean is the function to get the average. So let us view the result. So the average population is 16. Probably this is 16 billion. Okay. Or 16 million. Okay. 16 million. All right. Now I will integrate that on the condition. I want to get the countries that are that the population having above the average population. So I want to get the values of those, or want to get the countries with the above average population. Okay, so let me just show it. Okay, so these are the countries with above average population. However, they are not sorted. Okay, so they are basically sorted based on, I don't know, countries alphabetical order. So in order for me to sort them, I will be using sort values. And then I'm going to sort them by population. Population. All right. So let me view. Okay. So now it is sorted by population in ascending format. If I want to specify this one, what kind of sorting I want, I can use this kind of code. Okay. So it's the same thing, but more specific. So recap, I want to get country and population. Now I want to filter them, which countries with the population greater than equal to the average population. So it will only show the countries with the average population 16 above. Now I want to sort them using the sort values semiform. Now I just wanted to get the maximum population from this filter that I have. So this first filter is the average population, or the countries with the average population. All right. Now I wanted to get the maximum. the maximum population from these countries that they are above the average population. So if I'm going to do that, I will use that population so that I can get the cities. Okay, where do that population coming from? Again, as I explained before, if you want to get the series, you use the dot principle. Okay, so using the dot principle, you get the series. If you will not use the dot principle and you will use the bracket way of getting the column, something like this, we cannot get the max. It will have an error. Okay, it will have an error, right? Or probably it will get a different context. So meaning it will not compute. Okay. Therefore, if we change this one to that population, we simply get the series and then max it out. Same goes to this one. Without that population, you are getting this fancy format. If you use that population, you get only the series of that column. All right? So therefore, when we use this, we get a series. And then if we want to get the highest, we will put max over this one, over this series, to get 80.68. So 80.68. So that is the highest population number of those countries that are above the average population. Nakuha ba yun? Okay, so this is another one. Yes, I will give you this sample later. Oh. All right. So this is the explanation for the first line of code. Filter countries with population greater than or equal to the population mean. Then sort the filtered countries by population in ascending order. Then get the maximum population from the sorted countries. And then print the maximum population. Okay. So this is just getting the minimum and maximum temperature. By the way, let's say we have another question here. Another question is, what is the total population of all the cities, countries in residing on EU. Okay. For this one, we can implement some, right? So how do we do that? First, I get the countries. Actually, the answer is actually, we can get the answer from this one. Okay, just copy this and then just copy this and then put that on this question. Okay, what is the total population of all the countries residing in EU? So we will just get the population, or we can simply remove this one, only the countries. So countries that are in EU, yes. So I'm going to remove this because we're not filtering coastline. Okay, countries EU, then I want to sort the population. Actually, we don't need to use this also. We just want to know the total population of the countries that are residing in that. So the total population will be population. First, we get the list of population rather. So this is the list of population. Now, if we want to total the population, we will use sum. Okay, something like this. So the total population is 505 million. 505 million for those who are residing in EU. How about those who are not residing in EU? So it's just 172 million. How about we combine them? We want to combine them, right? Countries dot population. Okay. Countries dot population. Countries. Countries dot population. Okay. So combining them using this one, this is the combination. So what is EU? European Union. Para siyang United States, no? Pero mga Europeans yan. So mga taga France, Italy, and so on. Okay? So we can get the average temperature. So this is just combination of sum and len to get the average. So you can use also import numpy as NP to get the NP.average. Or you can just simply use cities.temperature.mean. So this is actually different ways to get the average average result for the column temperature. Okay. So we can actually use group by, no? Cities that group by country. So let's try to understand this group by. Pero hindi siya nag-result, no? Country. Kasi wala. Wait lang. Group per city. Oh, wait. Hindi siya pwedeng i-group by country. Hindi rin siya pwedeng i-group by city. Oh, country. Lagyan natin dito country. 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 Wait lang, ha. I see. Okay. So, Turkey, Denmark, United Kingdom. Kailangan ba siyang i-print? Print tayo. Print file. Okay, so eto siya, no? So what I did here is I implemented group by. Bakit natin siya nilagyan ng group by? Kasi we have cities, let's say this one. Meron tayong cities and yung mga cities na yan is under a certain country. Okay? So ibig sabihin, maraming city sa Spain. Tama ba? Maraming city sa Spain. So what does this do is it will group the city by country. So magiging siyang clusters of different countries. Then, this aggregating function yung mean, i-compute niya yung average temperature ng bawat cities. So, average temp of each country rather. Average temp of countries. So, pwede natin na itong tanggalin. Ayan. So, dito, ilalagay natin yung okay. So, in this one, dapat pala i-specify natin yung gusto natin ilagay, which is country and ano ba yung minimin natin? Population. Teka, nawala ko dun ah. Cities. Ano ba yun? Cities. Temperature, no? So, gusto natin makuha yung mean ng mga temperature na nun. So, lalagay natin dito yung temperature. Country temperature. Sorry, meron pa palang double bracket. Kailangan nga pala yun kasi maguguluhan pala pag nilagyan ng group by pag walang ganito. Okay, so run natin ulit. Ayan, so what happened here is kailangan natin i-specify yung ginugroup natin. So ginugroup natin siya by country. So yung Denmark, ito ang kanyang ba't lumabas yung ano? Group by country, group by country. Ay sorry, ito pala, average countries. Kunin natin to, lagay natin dito. Ayan. So, ang ibig sabihin nito, kailangan kasi natin sabihin sa kanya kung ano yung ginugroup natin. Ginugroup natin yung country galing doon sa cities dataset or cities data frame. Tapos, kailangan natin palabasin yung column na temperature. Ang gagawin niya is isasum niya lahat ng average temperature ng mga cities sa country ng Albania. Okay? So yan yung average. Ngayon, paano kapag gusto natin kunin yung sum? Pag gusto natin kunin yung sum of temperatures, yan, country and temperature, then group by country, then instead na lalagyan natin siya ng dot mean there, lalagay natin dito ng sum. Teka, isipin natin. Kailangan ko palang palabasin yun, ano? Yung sum. Meron bang dot sum? Wala. Okay, so let me try this one. Tingnan natin kung meron. Sum. Pwede pala. So, pwede pala yan, no? Sum. Ang ibig sabihin naman nito is isasum natin yung lahat ng city temperatures. Okay? Pwede pala yan, sum. So, ano yung ginagawa ko, di ba? Pakita ko lang sa Excel. Pwede kasi yan mangyari din sa Excel. Kung sa Excel yan, clear ko lang to, no? Uh, balik natin siya sa ano. Okay. Nakasort siya eh. Sort ko ulit siya sa city. Ayan. So, ang ginagawa ko, basically, doon sa Python program natin, kung Excel siya, is para siyang pivot table. No? Para siyang pivot table. So, gawin natin yung pivot table dito. Insert pivot table. Okay. So, kukunin ko lahat ng country, tapos yung temperature nila. Ayan. Tama ba? Pivot table, sum of temperature. Okay? Press 1 kung parehas. Familiar ba kayo sa pivot table ng ng Excel? So bakit kailangan natin 'yan gawin? Kasi pag sa Excel, pagtapos natin mag-pivot table sa Excel, usually ang ginagawa natin, ginagraph natin 'yan. So, insert chart. Yan. Ginagraph natin siya. Something like this. Okay? So, hindi na nga, gawin natin dito, kunin na lang natin yung top 10 para kita natin kagad. So, this is the top 10. Ano ba yung mga yun? Ba't ang liliit? Ayan. So, these are the different top 10. Yan. Yan yung reason kung bakit natin ginagawa yung pivot table sa Excel, no? Kasi ginagraph natin siya for data analysis. Okay. Pag pinagsama-sama daw yung temperature pero wala siyang sense, I'm just saying na ganito yung ginagawa, no? So pag pinagsama-sama natin yung mga temperature ng bawat cities sa country, ang pinakamataas si Turkey. Dapat to ginagamit to sa population, no? Hindi sa temperature. Pero anyway, this is just an example. So pag pinagsama-sama yung mga temperature, Turkey ang... So ngayon, pwede natin to actually baguhin sa pivot table natin para may mas sense. We can change this one. How do we change this one? Ay, lumabas ng ano, pivot table. Saan yun? Nawala yung pivot table sa gilid. Yan. Tapos, balikan natin yung program natin. Pwede kaya natin itong i-plot. Plot. Pwede. Pwede din, ano? Pero sana, gamitin lang natin yung top 10. So, gagamitin natin yung top 10. Gagamitin natin si head. 'Di ba? Top 10. Siguro mas maganda pala tail. Tail. Ayan. For top 10. Ayan, 'di ba? Para mas maganda, i-adjust natin. Gawin nating sorted. Kailangan i-sort natin yung values by sort natin yung values by temperature ascending false. Okay? Malaki, papaliit. So, let me just fix this one. Tingnan natin kung pwede. Sana pwede. Top 25. Ilalagay lang natin dito 25. Hmm. Nakuha ba? Lagay ko yung code dito. So, yes. So what happened here is, let me just explain this one. Ang gusto kong mangyari dito is makuha ko yung bakit tail. Bakit tail ang ginamit ko? Bakit hindi head? Kasi tandaan ninyo, ang tail kasi is yung latter part, yung dulo, no? Pag ginamit ko kasi dito yung head, dapat mauna yung sort values. Okay? So, let me try that. Kung parehas lang. Unahin natin yung sort values bago tayo mag-head. 25. Parehas lang, di ba? So, in this case, kaya natin ginamit yung head kasi sinort natin siya by descending order. Bakit siya descending order? Kasi ascending is false. Kasi dalawa lang naman pagpipilian natin dyan eh. Ascending order or descending order. Kaya kapag finols natin to, ibig sabihin, we are trying to say that we want to sort this one in descending order. From big to small. Okay? Now, since we are talking about big to small, ang nangunguna sa list natin ay mga big. Tama? Kung yun yung nauuna sa atin, yung mga big, dapat ang gawin natin is head. Kasi ang gusto nating ipakita dito, yung first 1 to 25. Ayan. Ngayon, kung gagawin ko itong tail, tingnan nyo, gagawin ko siyang tail, iba yan. Iba yung output. Iba yung outcome niya. Kasi, ang tail nagsisimula sa dulo. Sa dulo ng list. Kung papansinin niyo, Belarus yung dulo ng list. Tapos, pag head, Turkey. Ngayon, tingnan natin yung kabuuan. Lahat, walang top 25. Yung pinakalahat. Ito. So, ito yung pinaka kabuuan yan. Walang first 25 dyan. Wala siyang first 25. Ito yung pinaka kabuuan. So, tingnan natin nasan yung Belarus. Halos hindi na makita, no? Parang naipit na siya diyan. Yun yung reason bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng top 25. So top 25, kunyari top 10 lang muna. Top 10 head. So this is our top 10, Turkey to Poland. Yung last 10, no? Tail 10. So ito yung last 10. So ang pinakadulo is Estonia. Estonia ang pinakadulo. Okay? Tandaan natin, Estonia ang pinakadulo. Dapat pag plinet natin to lahat, Estonia ang pinakadulo. Tama, di ba? Estonia. So, ayan. Estonia ang pinakadulo. Right? Estonia. Yun. Nakuha ba? Pero actually, hindi tayo magpo-focus dito sa plotting. Ang point ko lang dito is that kailangan natin matutunan tong group by kasi itong group by is for the plotting. For the plotting to. Usually pag bar charts. For the plotting yan. For the plotting yan. Okay? Top 10. So this is the top 10. Okay? Paano pag ang ginamit naman natin dito average temp? Tingnan natin ang average temperature. Okay. So, ang ibig sabihin nito, ang pinakamainit sa kanilang lahat is Greece. Mainit sa Greece. Saan naman ang pinakamalamig? So, gagamitin natin yung tail. Yung last 10, ang pinakamalamig is Finland. Okay? So kung gusto nyo dun sa malamig na lugar, punta kayo ng Finland. Pag gusto nyo sa pinaka mainit, punta kayo ng Greece. So ito yung total, ano niya, no? Ito yung total graph niya. Greece and Finland. Okay? So tandaan lang ninyo lagi, kapag ka magagawa kayo ng graph, lalo na pag bar chart, sort them. Kailangan nyo silang isort. Kaya very important tong sort values. Yan. Very important yung sort values na yan. So dito sa Excel, ganun din yun. Kailangan isort din natin to. Ayan. Pwede rin natin siyang isort. So kung possible sa Excel, possible din yan sa Python. Diba? Okay. Okay, so now it's your turn. Now it's your turn. Do you have any questions, by the way, dito? May questions ba kayo sa... May questions? Wala? Do you have any questions? Okay, so if you have no question, ito. Find the average population of countries with coastline and countries without coastline. You can use group by. So meron ditong tanong, Sir Brian, question po. Currently, we're working on X number of CSV file. Matuturuan din po ba kami how we're going to merge all of it, then interpret to one data using Python? The answer for that is yes. Ito, actually second topic natin, ayan, no? Joining. So this joining is actually merging. I-merge natin yan. For example, yung cities, i-merge natin sa countries. Gagawin natin yan mamaya. Players, tsaka teams. I-merge natin yan later. So for now, try to answer muna this one. This is like a formative assessment para ma-practice nyo naman siya. So try to answer this and try to answer this. Don't worry, the answers are given after our class. So ganun pa rin, you know the drill. I want you to do this question, and then your answer, please paste it in our chat box. Kindly paste your answer sa chat box. So you might be wondering bakit pinagagawa ko yun. Kasi sa dulo, alam ko bibigyan ng award yung mga nagpa-participate. So I want to record yung top, parang may top 1 yata eh. Top 1 sa participation, top 1 student, gano'n. So, yun yung purpose. Kaya ako siya pinapa-place. Para based on performance, kung bakit siya napili as top student ng class natin. Okay? Okay, so probably you might want to answer that later. All right, so let me just move on forward with joining. So while you answer that question, probably you would like to hear what we will do here in our joining. So joining basically is merging as well. Okay. So kindly put your attention here first in my explanation, and then you can continue what you are doing later or on your own time, because we only have 30 minutes more time left in our session. All right. So we have here cities that merge as our code. So what does this mean? This means that our data frame cities will be merged on countries data frame, which is having the same column as countries. So joining should be symmetric. All right. So let me explain to you one by one what I mean when I say symmetric is, for instance, cities. Let me just pull up the records of cities. So this is the record for cities, and let us observe the cities data frame. The cities data frame has city, country, latitude, longitude, and temperature columns. Okay, how about countries? Countries that head. Countries also have population, EU, coastline, and country. So they can be mergeable if both of these uh, tables have the same column. In this case, I will ask you a question. What is their common column for cities and countries? Can you type there what is their common column? Okay, so their common column is uh, country, correct? Country, no? So also, please be reminded that all of the countries that are presented here on the cities data frame should also be represented in our countries data frame. So, so that should be the case. All right. So what will happen if there is a country that is not uh, represented in the cities? It's okay if in the country's data frame, sorry, it's okay if one of the countries in the country's data frame is not present on the city's uh, data frame. So it's okay, right? All right. So meaning we can merge them because they have the same country column. So the code to merge them is cities that merge countries on country. So this is the column. So this is the reference column, should we say. All right. So now this is the merging of the two data frame. We have city, country, latitude, longitude, temperature, population, EU, and coastline. All right. Can you do that vice versa? Yes. You can do that vice versa. If you want to make it countries that merge cities on country, that is still also possible. However, what will happen is that the first table will be on the first part of your column. So this is coming from the country's data frame, and this is coming from the city's data frame. But I think there's no problem with that. I think that's okay. Okay, so now if we merge them together, we can also perform pivot tables in the merge tables. Let's try to create one. So let's try to emulate the answer for this one. So instead of temperature, we want to have population for each country or city. But based on our data, it's just repeating. So it's just repeating. So it's not actually the population of city, but the population of per country. So we should have, okay, so probably, okay, so we can also use that scenario, but we can use temperature. All right, so what I have in mind is that they will be grouped by coastline. I want to group them by coastline instead of country. Because we combined both of the data frames, we can now access EU or coastline when we compare it with the cities table. So what I will do here is I will assign this to a variable. Let's say the variable is combined. So the combined will become a data frame with the combination of countries and cities. So let's run this code. Okay. So now combine is the merging of the two tables. Right now, we merge them together. Okay. So what I want to do here is the average. What is the average temperature? The average temperature of countries. So country and temperature. Temperature. Then I want to get the coastline. Combine that coastline. Coastline should be yes. Okay, so I'm going to get all of the country temperature, average country temperature of the coastline. Let me average temperature of each country with coastline. So all of those countries with coastline, I want to get the average country and temperature. Okay, next is I'm going to get the group by country Okay, and that average. So let us look at the answer. All right, so we have the answer. So this is the average temperature which are having a coastline. Now we can plot it something like this, right? And then we can also sort them. So if I'm going to sort them just before the plot, so that values um, sort values based on temperature ascending equals false. So ang haba na ng code ko, no? Okay, let's wait for it to finish. Okay. So what if I just want to get top top 10? So I suggest dot head top 10. Okay? So if your country has a coastline, so the highest average temperature of that country is Greece. Okay, Greece has the highest, above 16 for the temperature. So what if the coastline is no? Serbia is the highest. However, that is only below 10 for the average temperature. The country Serbia. Okay? So that's our lesson for today. What else? Miscellaneous. Okay, so miscellaneous. You can actually search for those countries that contains IA. So in this scenario, all of the country that has IA, Albania, Australia, Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Estonia, Latvia, etc. So we can also plot them something like this. Okay. We can actually add more columns. So in this one, what happened here is we add column. We want to add a column Fahrenheit. So in order to add a column, you just have open and close bracket and the column you want to add and the data that should be placed inside that column. So in this case, we want to get Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit has a computation. So in this instance, we have cities that temperature times 9/5 plus 32 to get the Fahrenheit. Okay. So now you get 5 columns instead of, or rather, you get 6 columns instead of 5 with the added value of Fahrenheit. hot or cold using lambda functions, but this is optional. Okay. So if you're going to apply that function like this, you will have another column which as cold or hot, something like this. So reminders, simple reminders, queries only last result shown. Ibig sabihin yung pinaka-last lang daw yung pinapakita. Yan yung reminders. And then this is just putting them in temporary frames. Yan. And now next is the assignment. So this one is your assignment that should be submitted next time. So you should submit this assignment for next meeting. So on your Leon's account, you will have here another link to submit. I will place a link just below the files for submission. Okay, so let me just add those. So later I will be using, or I will be placing a link here to submit your answers for your turn. Yeah. Ito, yung mga answer dito. So since ibibigay ko yung answer later, i-activate ko yung answer. I would want you to challenge yourself to not to look to the answers first, but try to program your answers before you look on the answer key. Okay? So I don't know if you will promise that, but it's okay if you just wanted to look at the answers. All right? Do you have any questions for our session today? So I will use the remaining time for question and answering. If you just have any questions. So this is the answer of Stephanie. Let us look at the answer of Stephanie. To find the average population of countries, so we have countries. So to get the average population, we get coastline population, group by coastline, correct? This is correct because you can actually group all of those countries by coastline. So basically, what you use at the group by is a nominal data type, meaning it's not numerical. So coastline, no, yes. And then the average population, there you go, you get the average population. Now you can also group by coastline in EU to get the mean population. All right. So you can put 2 for group by. So paano natin to ginagawa sa Excel, yung answer sa pangalawa. So tingnan natin kung pwede siya sa Excel. So again, let's say you have their cities. So you create a pivot table. Insert a pivot table. Okay. So what you will use there is, sorry. I need to combine them pala. Teka. I need to combine them. Okay. So what I need there is I need to combine them. So anyway, pivot table lang din naman yun, ano? So ibig sabihin ng coastline, inilagay mo siya dun sa columns. So kaya naging ganun siya, columns. Ay nilagay mo siya rather sa row. Yung cost line nilagay mo siya sa row. And then yung values niya is yung population. So ito yung magiging result niyan. So this is like a pivot table in Excel. Okay? Ay hindi, cost line pala no. Teka. I think we can do this in Excel. I was just confused.
Yes po, hindi po
Let
ako
me just...
gumamit ng combine countries
Oo, nga.
local na
Oo,
table.
na-confuse ako. Sorry. Ang binubuksan ko pala iba. Asan na yan? Paano i-close to? What happened? Teka, close ko muna to. Close. Then, this one. Wala nangyari. Okay. Don't save. Tapos, buksan natin yung isa. Countries. Kaya pala ako na-confuse kasi ang nakabukas cities tapos countries pala to. No? So, try natin siyang gawin sa Excel or what I'm saying dun sa answer ni Stephanie. So, ganun, insert then pivot table. So, lalagay natin sa rows, una yung EU, tapos sunod is cost line. Cost line pala sa columns or values. Columns. Yes. EU column. Tapos cost line. Okay, parang ganun na din. No? Tingnan natin. 4.19. Average kasi, ano ba ginagamit natin? Average. So average, ang gamitin natin dito. Feed settings. Average. Ayan. So 6.4.3. 19 and 21. Tama, parehas lang, no? Let me show it again. Ayan. Iba lang yung pagkakaitsura niya. Okay. Can we plot this one? Ganito yung itsura niya pag plinat siya. Stock charts. Kaya mag-stock chart, mag-cluster charts ng Python. Okay? So gawin natin siya, no? Mayroon pa tayong 7 minutes. Um, okay. Ayaw. Anyway, if you look at it, yung isa is coastline, yung isa wala sa EU. So, hindi lang natin kita kung okay na o yung pie. Walang pie. Pwede lang siya sa bar chart. Pero hindi natin kita yung ano. Hindi natin yung cluster. Anyway, nakasort naman siya in a way, group by the sort value. Population. False. Sort values. Ayan. Bar H. Okay. Ay, ito na natin. Alright. So, pwede naman ano. Coastline, EU population. Okay. So for our next meeting, we will focus on the visualization of our data. So I hope this meeting, you got something, you learned something for manipulating data in Python. So this topic is again Python Pandas. And reminders, you also have an assignment. And I will share this to you. This is the new version. You can just copy it. So we will just save it down and share. So what you can do here is that you can have a copy of your own by going to file and then save a copy in Drive so that you have a copy of your own. All right. So do you have any questions before we end our session for today? All right. Thank you very much. So if you don't have any question, you can watch the recording of this video. Probably I will upload it on Sunday. Thank you. See you again on our next session for next week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.